Great, but now, okay, so I've heard it's been said that the quickest road to success is to possess an attitude toward failure of no fear.
Mhm.
And so we have to then enter into a fearless mindset. So, each of us has been through our peaks and valleys and did that ever, and for those that are just joining us, we have Brian Stone, Angela Marie Quingdom, and Kiva Richmond Green in the studio with us, and these are all great entrepreneurs, great people. They're like our family. And we've each have had peaks and valleys.
Mhm.
So when did it, like after you lost everything, Brian, like after you lost when did that mindset shift, after you got over the shock of it?
Yeah.
Because
it
we
takes
all
a
had
lot of-
shocks,
it takes a lot.
right?
I mean, I always
Or
tell
how
people
did-
I went from $100,000 a month to $2.75
Okay?
without
Ditto.
losing any bills.
Right.
My bills stayed the same.
Okay.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
My incomes went away.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a really, really hard place to be, especially if you have a lot of stuff,
Right.
which I thought was important, and you're trying to hold on to that, And I mean, it's a lot of, especially for a man, and not to say, but for as the leader of the household.
Women have a
you know,
lot of stuff.
Women, no, but I'm just saying, for when you're supposed to be leading your household, paying your bills and everything, and all of a sudden it was a scary time. I mean, I even admit I was very scared because I didn't even know, and I'm fearless.
I know.
I mean, I'll take on a new thing in a heartbeat, and then so. But I mean, it took me probably about a year of banging my head and just feeling sorry for myself and just kind of dazed, just not really knowing what happened, trying to figure out where I made, going over everything. Well, I did this, or I did that, or I spent too much money on a dinner, or what if I would have done this, or what if I wouldn't have bought that car, or what if I didn't have that tractor, or what if I didn't have that golf, I mean, all that kind of stuff, and then when you finally realize that, it's like slap yourself, get out of this.
That's right.
I mean, because nobody gonna help me.
Yep,
I didn't have, my friends wouldn't pick up their phone.
okay.
Okay, the ones that you gave money to before, they lost,
they gone.
okay, now before it was very easy,
Yeah.
and it was easy and I didn't have a problem helping.
Right.
Right.
But when that's why I say I learned how to clean out my phone. So there was a lot of things going on at one time, both mentally, and just trying to keep together, and then knowing who my friends are and who my friends aren't,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd say it took me about a year.
I got an analogy on that. This actually comes from Joel Osteen. Shout out to Joel Osteen. But a farmer had a donkey that fell into a hole and could not get him out. So he decided the next thing he has to do is probably bury him, right? Couldn't get him out. So he would shovel dirt on top of the mule, or the donkey. But the donkey, every time he shoveled something on his back, he would shake it off and step up with that dirt that's going into the hole. So every time he would shake it off, step up, shake it off,
Wow.
step up. Finally, what happened?
He got enough to get out.
He got out of the hole.
I love that. I
Wow,
love
I love
that.
that.
I love
Yeah.
that. I
So you
love
have
that.
to shake it off. First, you got to figure out
Exactly.
here I am.
Right.
Okay, you got to recognize it.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't deny it. You got to figure out what you're gonna do, and then
Yes.
what's Nike say?
Just
Just
do
do
it.
it. That's right. That's exactly
Wow.
right.
Okay.
And don't listen to anybody. Don't
Right.
let people they say stuff to you. Just do it.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's what I call that voice of discouragement. It either comes from the enemy himself or those naysayers.
Right.
You can't, that dream is too big.
That's right.
That-
Nobody gonna
you're
ever be able to
crazy.
do that.
Right,
You're a
but
dreamer.
one of the biggest secrets to success is operating inside your strength zone, but outside of your comfort zone.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh, that's what
I like that.
that's what
Yeah.
makes you strong and
Yeah.
better, man.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if you only stay in your comfort zone, how will you ever go? How will you ever get any better
That's
or
right.
bigger or learn more?
And that's when you can use fear positively.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you
Yes.
something. Everything I've basically done in life, I've done it doing it scared by faith. Fear, I would say scared because you're kind of nervous, taking these baby steps. I was very nervous. I remember when I started contacting Bermuda. And it was a big dream because I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I want to be able to be a big producer one day. So let me just send a little email just to ask them if they need some help. To my shock and my fear, they were like,
They
yes, we
responded.
love your concept. Coming over and produce it. I'm like, oh Lord Jesus.
Now what?
I need some help. Allison, somebody help me, because the blessing was
crazy.
it was really big. But sometimes you can use that fear
That's
to
right.
actually, because what
Push,
happens is
push.
you get addicted to it. It's
Yeah.
the adrenaline rush to say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I may be a little bit nervous, but I'm going to continue to walk it out. So.
Well,
It's just,
go ahead.
I got one more. It's just like bodybuilders, okay?
Mhm.
I know you probably heard bodybuilders, some people, you know, they'll do sets and they do reps and so forth, but some people go to failure, okay? So that means you're pushing and pushing until you cannot do it anymore, okay? So you're pushing till failure. Is it really failure? At that point, it's failure, okay, because you can't push anymore. But what happens? You go home and your muscles do what? Recover. And then what happens? You
can do
get
more.
stronger.
That's right,
You can do
that's
more.
right.
So
I
it's
like
it's the
that.
same type of thing. That's what happens with bodybuilders and muscles.
Right.
So if you can get your
Mind.
mental
Right.
muscles
That's
right.
That's
pumped
right.
up,
Right.
you can do
That's
anything.
right.
Man.
That's me.
Hey, you wanna come on my radio show? Shane got them analogies. Let's cut in for Shane now.
But what you did,
That's what I'm here
when
for.
you sent
That's too funny.
that email, it was outside of your comfort
It
zone,
really
right?
was.
So you might fail incredibly or
You might
succeed
succeed
incredibly.
That's right.
Yeah, but
But
really,
you know,
But you
really,
tried.
it
You
wasn't
went-
out of your
yeah,
comfort
yeah,
zone.
Yeah.
you did that because whether you took the chance.
Yeah.
And you were and you didn't know whether it was gonna happen or whether it wasn't gonna happen.
Right.
But see, in your mind, you already knew it was gonna happen.
But you have faith.
right,
Yeah.
but
You
that's
attracted
why
that.
Yeah.
you
Oh,
need
I get
you
it.
know,
I get it now. 'Cause I was thinking,
incredible
I got it.
risk and courage.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to take that risk and just have
Yeah.
courage.
And do it. She
Right.
walked on faith and
She
made
hit
something
enter. She hit
amazing
send.
happen.
That's right.
I mean, a
That's right.
dream she took and made something happen. And I mean,
Yeah.
that was, yeah, she was scary only because she'd never been there before.
Right.
But now she's been there.
Right.
Now then, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, taking that journey, just like when I went to Florida with a couple $100 and stayed there for 2 years and built a business. You know, taking that journey, I didn't know what was gonna happen,
Right,
but I wasn't scared to fail.
right, that's
Okay,
it.
I didn't care what other people were gonna see or think or what, because it wasn't about them.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know, they ain't paying my bills.
And I think the biggest thing is that through all of our failures, quote unquote, is that we did maintain a positive mindset. I mean, maybe at first, while you were still in shock, it wasn't intentional. But once you push through it,
That's right.
yeah, and that's why, like, I really don't like to watch the news. I don't, I read and I put on, you know, people or like Joel Osteen
Yes.
that are positive, that are inspirational, and because that's the mind is the greatest battleground.
That's right.
More people battle
That is your
in their
battle.
mind than they do their
That's
checkbooks.
exactly
Right.
right. That's exactly
And
right.
so once you understand that you have to
You can
cover
shift.
your mind daily,
Feed your
that's
mind.
right, it's so,
Positive.
Well, that's
so
what
important, and
God says renew your mind.
That's it.
Daily.
Romans 12.
Daily.
That's
Daily.
it.
You need to renew your mind, get
So-
that negative stuff out of there.
so
Keep it
before
moving.
we run out of time, tell us again about your event on September 24th.
It is the International Success Party where entrepreneurs, business owners, it's a business to business networking day party where we're going to celebrate your success. We have a lot of vendors that are going to be there that's going to empower people to help build their success. Banks, angel investors, just a little bit of everyone that's going to actually, I can't even talk. I'm so successful, I can't even talk. Like, it's my event, so I must be still having a little fear. Oh, Jesus.
No, you'll be fine.
Yes, but it's September 24th. You want to go to Fumi ATL, that's FUMIATL.com to get some more
Awesome.
information. I wanted to say this, for anyone that's listening, the success is not just achieving it in business, but in relationships and family as well. You know, one of the things with my daughter when she was kidnapped, I felt like I had failed. You know, I felt her as a mother. She was a runaway, a chronic runaway, and eventually she was kidnapped. But what happened is I overcame that obstacle by making a decision that I will get her back.
Right.
And I went out and did just that. Not only that I was able to get her back, but able to rescue some other people. So just in a nutshell, that success also goes with marriage. It goes with children, raising your children. And so as long as you understand that you are success, then that should spread throughout your, families.
Because even in a relationship, if you go through hard times and you go through a divorce, you think it's a failure, but you're still winning. As long as you can break out of that and grow and become a winner again, it's not a failure. It's
It's a
him
lesson.
bringing you
It's a
through it
lesson.
and getting to it.
It's a lesson.
Okay, I mean, Shane is on the
The
point.
point.
I can't even talk right now.
Right on.
That's
So,
what I do.
and then,
Man.
Brian, anything that you have coming up, or do you wanna talk about PAC stuff for?
Motorcycles we're doing down in, October 13th through 16th, we'll be in Daytona. Other than that, for PAX Motorcycles, listen to our radio show, Cutting Edge Connection, on 1100 AM. Other than that, I'm gonna be at the Success Party.
Okay.
Me too.
Yeah, we will
We
too.
all
Absolutely.
success.
I might come riding up.
All right, let's ride
There you
together.
go.
This has
You're
been
on PAX.
great, thank you, Kiba Richmond Green,
Thank you
for being here, thank you, Angela,
Absolutely.
Marie Queendom Inc.
Yes, thank you
Brian
so-
Stone, always my brother from another
Another
mother.
mother. I got it.
And
You know what I'm saying? I got
Puerto
it.
Rican sister.
and we'll see you also on the 24th. This show has been brought to you by My CRD, the Credit Restoration Depot. If you have any credit or debt challenges, they are the ones that will make you right. So go to www.mycrd.org, and you can also find them on Facebook. And so we're gonna close out this show with I had 17 principles, but we just had such a great
We
time.
gotta do another show.
But the biggest one is
yes.
have big dreams, because you'll grow into them. This is
I like
Alison
that.
from Alison,
And this is Shane Harmon.
and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Good show, people.
Good show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was fun.
Shane, you are the man.
Okay.
Shane, you cannot
Shane
sleep
got-
on Shane.
Oh, them little donkey things.